Okay, so welcome back, and now we're going to do some examples of dividing numbers that are in scientific notation. Okay, so let's do the first one. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to split this up, right? So I'm going to divide the first two factors. So we're going to treat this as a product of two fractions, right? Because I've got multiplication on the top and the bottom, and this is division. So I can split it up into two fractions. So I can make it look like this. So this will be 3 divided by 2 times 10 to the 5th over 10 squared. Okay? There's nothing wrong with me doing that. Okay? Now, what is 3 halves? That's going to be 1.5 times, now here I have to subtract the exponent. So always subtract the top minus the bottom. So it's going to be 5 minus 2, which is 3, and I'm done. I don't have to do any adjustments. I'm good. Okay, now what about this one? Okay, so let's do the same thing. So let's write this as two fractions. So I'm going to put the first factors together. And the power of 10 factors together. So now the first thing is I want to divide the 144 by 6. And so if I divide the 1.44 divided by 6, that's going to give me 0.24. Okay, because 12 goes into 144 12 times. So 6 is going to go into 144 24 times, but since I have a decimal point in here, I move the decimal point over to the left to place value, so I get 0.24. But again, you can use your calculator. Okay, so 0.24, this is going to be 0.24 times, now what do I got here? I got 10 to the negative third divided by 10 to the negative fifth, so I'm going to subtract exponents. So that would be, I would have negative 3 minus a negative 5, which is going to give me a positive 2. Okay, now, I'm not done with this one because I don't have a number that's between 1 and 10 here. So remember, it's got to be at least 1, but less than 10. So if I move the decimal point over to the right one spot, then that means I have to reduce the power by 1. Okay? Because remember, this number and this number has to be the same. Okay? So 0.24 times 100 is the same as 2.4 times 10. Okay? Again, just see the pattern. Okay, now let's do C. Now C, we're going to, again, split it up into the product of two fractions. So it's going to be 9.6 divided by 3.2 times 10 to the 29th, divided by 10 to the 111th power. Okay, now, 9.6 divided by 3.2 is equal to 3. And so again, 10 to the 29th divided by 10 to the 111th power. We're going to subtract the top minus the bottom. Okay? So we're going to do 29 minus 111. Okay? So if we subtract that, we're going to end up with a negative exponent. Okay? So we're going to end up with a negative exponent, and that's going to be 82. Negative 82. and that's it. We don't have to do any adjustments because this is already between at least 1 and less than 10. Now, the last one, we've got a scientific notation on the top and scientific and a whole number on the bottom. Okay, so the way we could split this up is like this, because we could split this up as a couple of different ways. We could split this up as 5 times 1, right? And we could put this and then just put 10 over 1. Or we could pretend and just rewrite this as 5 times 10 to the 0. Oops. Which is again the same as 1. Right? Either way is fine. Okay? So if I rewrite this, this is going to be 1.25 divided by 5 times 10 to the third over 10 to the 0. Again, or you could just put 1 here. Okay? And then, so 1.25 divided by 5 is going to be 0.25. Okay? And then over here we get times 10 to the third. So now here I've got to move the decimal point to the right. 1 place value, right? Which means I have to reduce this by 1. Okay? So that means my final answer is going to be 2.5 times 10 to the second power. And again, 0.25 times 1,000 is the same as 2.5 times 100. Okay? Just verify. Always double check to make sure that you're getting the correct answer, because if you get a scientific notation, you should be able to go back to what you started from. So again, just ask yourselves, okay, are these representing the same number? Well, yes, 0.25 times 10 to the third, or times 1,000, is the same as if I take 2.5 times 100. So I'm good. That's it. See you next time.